Hello everyone, and I welcome you all to this session where you are going to learn about the compositing software. The software that I'm going to use for this is Nuke, as I already mentioned in the introductory classes. We'll be using Nuke and also Photoshop. Okay, these are the two softwares. This Nuke version, it should be above 9. Okay, and the version that I'm going to use is 13. Okay, so let's start the session. Ni hao. So this is the software icon. Okay, Nuke 13.1 v2 is what I'm using. You can download any version that is suitable for you and which is available in your lab computer. There are trial versions available. Trial will work only for 30 days. Okay, so this is the software. Okay, when I click on this, you can click on the launch button because this is already installed. Okay, so when you open Nuke, this is the interface of Nuke. Okay, what you saw in Photoshop is entirely different from what you see here in Nuke. I'll first point out the differences between a layer based software and a node based software. Okay, what we are using here, so this is what we used in the previous class. This Photoshop is a layer based software because you have the layers here. Okay, all this is layers. Okay, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. So you can pile up, you can switch off, you can switch on the layers, as you wish. Okay, so this is all layers, but in Nuke you don't have layers. In Nuke you have something called as node. What you see here is node, and this is called as node graph. Okay, node graph is where you are going to work. You also have curve editor and you have a dope sheet here. First we'll primarily work with node graphs only. Okay, so this is the project setup. You have the viewer here. This is the viewer, like what you see in Photoshop. This is the viewer. In Nuke, this is the viewer. So whatever you do here will be viewed here. And here is the properties window. What you see here is the property window. Okay, and these are the tools that are available here. Okay, like image. And under each tool, if you click, you will have a lot of other tools. Okay, clustered together like roto paint and so on. Okay, this is, you read image, you write image. Okay, all this will be done. I'll teach you in course of time. There are so many tools available here. Okay, this is the toolbar, and here you have all the play controls. You have the play button, you have move one step, the to the right, that is one frame. This is one step to the backwards, that is the left, which goes to the previous frame. This goes to the last end of frame, and this goes to the beginning home. Okay, the start of the movie. And by default this is 100. You can see here this is 100. If you want to make any settings to the project, okay, what you see here, this is 2K Super full AP. So if I press S, you can see my keyboard shortcuts here. Whatever I press will be shown here. So if I press S, I get the project settings. This is where you give the name for the project. Okay, first comp, this is my first composition. Okay, this is for the script. We'll do it later. Here you can type the comments. This is the exercise with Nuke. Okay, see here you have the frame range of 100. If you want to make it 200, just type 200 and press enter. If you want to make it 100, you can change it. Okay, this is fps, frames per second. If you want 25, you can make it 25. If you want 30, you can make it 30. Okay, so all this is possible. Okay, and these are the default full size format. You can see here this is 2K super, and if you want to change this, there is a drop down where you can click and you can change HD 1080 1920 by 1080. If I click this, you see this becomes HD. Okay, and if I want to make it a square, you can see I get a square. Scrolling your mouse button will zoom in and zoom out. Okay, so I'll just keep it as HD 1080. And if you center press the scroll button and then you move, you can move this. The same applies here. You can zoom in, zoom out, and you can move by pressing the scroll button. Okay, these are very basics. You have to be thorough with this. Okay, say for example, if I want to read a file, press R. You can either press R or go here and give read. Okay, so I want to take some files from the folder. Okay, from here, say for example, I'll take this gonzo.jpg. Okay, now the file is here and you see the property window here. This is read one. Okay, you can see read one. Okay, so this is read one. From where I have read it, I have read it from this source file, and the format is 3860 by 3169. Okay, it shows the properties of this. Okay, so if I want to see this image in my viewer, I need to connect this node. You see there is an arrow mark here. Okay, this is the viewer. Okay, or this also has one. Okay, I can take this and connect it here, then I see it here. You see, I can see this here. Now you see the size has changed to 3860 by 3169, but my project setting, it is different, isn't it? My project setting is 1080, that is 1920 by 1080. Okay, so this is how you view this. You can disconnect this by just dragging and leaving it. Okay, then you see HD 1080. If I want to connect this using shortcut, I can just press this and press 1 in my keyboard. It automatically connects. And disconnect, just disconnect like this. Click, press 1, it connects. So I can see this. These nodes operate based on the layer concepts, but here it is all nodes which is interconnected. Say if I want to add anything to this node, see I don't have any settings here where I can change the size or anything. So I need to include another node. Press tab and then type transform. When I click on transform, I get a node attached to this. Okay, arrange your nodes properly in the node graph. Okay, so this is transformed and viewed here. How do I transform? You can see here under the transform I have controls. I can scale this. Okay, I can translate the position, say 50. Enter, it moves to the right, or I can move here. You can see, so whatever is inside the screen size is visible. Okay, so this is transform node. Here you can scale, you can rotate. Okay, any transformation is possible according to what is given. This is skew in the x and y. You can skew it to x, skew it to y axis like this if required. Okay, so this is the transform node. Okay, and if I just click here and type reformat. Okay, this is another transformation, but what happens is this reformats this image to your project setting. Your project setting is HD 1080. You come down, check your project setting, it's 1080. Okay, so this is reformatted. Now you can go to the transform, double click this transform, Now you can make any changes that you want. Okay, so basically I'm reformatting this and fitting it to the actual project size. Okay, because the rotation has happened here, if I make it 0, it will fit. Okay, these are the basic controls of the transform node. So reformat is used to reformat this clip to the project setting. Okay, and you see there are number of scroll here. Say if I want only one here, I press 1 and then enter. I will have only one here. Whichever I click will be shown here. If I want two, so two properties can be displayed. See transform, then a reformat. Okay, see 1, 2. If you want 3 here, you can press 3. Okay, then if you whatever node that you add here will be shown. Okay, say I press S. Okay, S for project settings. So I have 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this is how the uh, project goes on. Say for example, I wanted to add another node here. Okay, how will I do it? If I want to add another node here, what should I do? Okay, I should this is the center actually. You can see the center here. Okay, so this center can be adjusted according to your requirement. I'm now scaling it, moving this. My center has gone to the top here. Okay, so if I press control and drag and keep it here, my center comes to the center. Now it's easy for me to move. Okay, now I have this building like this here. I can just scale it and then place it. So if I press control, I can place it to the center itself. Alright, now this is there. If I want another image to come here, so I'll read another image, press R. I'm taking this plain PNG clip art. Okay, so plane is here. Now, how do I connect this? Okay, if I press 1 to this plane, I'll see only the plane here, but this is disconnected. But I don't want this. I remove this, I connect this. Okay, now for this plane, I need to have another node called as merge. I want to merge this and that. Okay, A, see merge nodes will have two. Okay, this is A and this is B. B is background, A is foreground. Okay, so I connect this foreground and I remove this. I take this background and I connect here. Okay, so this is background, this is foreground, and I'm merging this. Okay, then my output 1 is connected to the merge node. Okay, now this is connected. For this one, I add transform. So when I click on transform, I get the transform node here. Okay, double click this, come here, and you can scale this down. Sorry, undo. Scale this, bring it to whatever size that you actually want. Okay, this is a PNG image. PNG, it has transparency in it. So I double click this, come here, there is an option called pre-multiplied. Click this, the white is removed because this is a PNG image. Already there is inbuilt alpha channel in this plane image that you are seeing. Okay, now I have merged. See the output here. If I press space bar, it will show me the full screen. Okay, so again, if you press space bar, you can exit the full screen. Okay, now the plane is placed here. And as usual, for this transformation, if you make any adjustments here, that will be reflected. So if I have a plane here, I can even, play with the uh, positioning of this. Okay, let me show you how to do that positioning. Now the plane is outside the frame. Okay, Alright, now we have the plane here, and I'm going to just go to the first frame, you can see, and set key. And I'll go to the last frame here, 100, and I'll move this. Okay, you can see that a straight line is created. I go to the first frame, now I play this. I can see that the plane is moving. Okay, if I want to make this stand for some time, I go to the project settings here and make this 150. Now you rewind and play. Okay, so this is the end point, isn't it? So this point is where your project ends. So after 100 it stays this red line. Okay, so go back. Now if I want to make any changes to this, the plane is going in a straight line. Okay, so if I want to make any changes to this, I can go to this transform node, and from here if I go to the curve editor, you can see the curves here. What you see here is x-axis, and what you see here is y-axis. Okay, so probably if I want to make any change, say plane is coming here, and here if I want to make some changes to the curve in y-axis. Okay, see, y-axis is selected. Go here, set key. There is a key set here. Okay, so I can adjust here in y-axis. I can make the plane take off like this. Okay, and in x-axis if I want to make any change. Okay, now go back, see, plane takes off like this. Now in x-axis if I want to make any change here in x-axis, go and set a key in the x-axis. Now this is x. Okay, you can adjust the x values. Okay, and similarly in y-axis if you want to make any change, you can make. So finally when the plane is about to go to the end, if you want to make any changes, again set the key here. This is y-axis, this is y-axis, so in y-axis you can raise this like this. Okay, so now you see, so this drops here because of the keyframe that is dropping here. So here also you can make it straight. So if you start working with the dope sheet or the curve editor, it will be easy for you. Now we are working with the curve editor. You have something called as dope sheet where you can see all the keyframes here, which I will detail you in the upcoming classes, which you can easily learn. Okay, so I'll go back to the node graph. So I'll recall what we did. This is image number one, which we used a read node. Okay, we have reformatted it to this HD 1080. We have transformed. This is read node 2, which has a pre-multiplied alpha, and this is transformed to transform the size. And in the transform, we have made the adjustments here in the curve editor. You can see the keyframes that we have worked. Suppose if you want to delete any keyframe, okay, see, let's come back to this one here. Suppose if I want to delete this keyframe, I can just select and delete. Press delete, it will be deleted. Suppose you want to add any keyframe, you can add in the transform node. You can set the key and you can add. Okay, whatever adjustments that you wanted to make, you can make. Okay, so this is how the graph works. See, if there is a clumsy area, the plane will go down like this and up like this. So here, if you want to delete something, you can select delete. Okay, now you play. Okay, so this is how the adjustments are made. You can make adjustments here. Okay, even here you can make the adjustments. to make it basically look smoother in animating, and these curves can also be adjusted. Okay, even this curve that you see here can be adjusted in the right point. You can see here. Can you see? So this is how you make the perfect uh, transform animation using the node graph. Okay, now the plane is going from here to here, but at this point you see the plane is in the foreground. I want to take this plane to the background. For this you need to have a pen tool in Photoshop. Like that you have a tool called Roto here. Okay, Roto can be taken from here, or you can press O, or you can even type Roto. Okay, so for this background layer, I need to type a roto. Before that, this transform mode should be disabled. I'm disabling this transform, you see. Press D. Okay, now I just click like this and type roto. So now I got a roto node. This is alpha. Okay, so double click this and you can make it big screen. In roto node, what basically we are going to do is we are just going to select the outline of this building. I'll just roughly do this now, and later you guys can do it perfectly. Okay, so I'm just roughly selecting this, and you can see, because this is the place where I'm going to use the rotor node. So now the masking is done. I go back to the roto node graph here. In the roto node graph, you see the Bezier is here, and still the airplane is here. So go to the merge. Okay, and in the merge you have mask. In the mask you select RGB and alpha. When you select RGB and alpha, your plane goes back. This is invert. Okay, so your plane is at the back. Okay, and double click the roto node. In the roto node you have something called as feather. You can make it feathering. This is for the edges to become soft. Okay, suppose in the roto node you want to make any changes, you can click on the Bezier here, and any changes that you wanted to make. If you want to move this, you can move, the feathering, or overall if you want to make any changes, you can make the changes like moving it apart and closer. Okay, you can select. When you get the move tool, you can move this like this. Okay, so this is all possible with the rotor node. Now let's play this and check how it looks like when you start from the beginning. See, the plane is going behind. Okay, so this is the practical implication of a rotor node. You can easily rotor anything in a scene, and then you can replace the scene with the objects that you wanted to composite. Okay, so in the full screen, if you check, this output will look perfect. You can see that the plane is coming from outside, and it probably moves behind the building, and then it goes. This node selection, it is showing as red color. So if I just close this rotor node, that red color will vanish. Okay, so now you see without the red outline, a perfect animation is done. Okay, so this is one pretty good example of a composition, a simple composition with reformat, transform, and rotor node. I want all of you to practice this with the given clips, and also I encourage you to shoot something on your own and then composite. Say you can even roto everything of this, you know and then you can replace whatever cloud that is given there. Okay, now if I have to take the output of this, what can be done? Now what you are seeing here is in the viewer only, right? You are just viewing it, the animation that is happening, the composition that you have made. But if you really have to take an output, you need to have a node called as write node. Okay, it's WRITE, write node. Okay, so this write node should be connected to the final node, and you don't have to connect this here. So if you double click this, you get the options here. For the write node, you need to have a file name. Okay, so plain flying. Okay, I give it as plain flying, and you need to specify a file type also for this. So I'll make it as MOV. Okay, then click here. Automatically MOV settings will be taken here. Then double click this, copy this, just give a proxy. Okay, so before this you need to just type percentage %d. This is just a proxy name. Forget about it. This is for the internal calculation that is going to happen. And codec by default, it selects Apple ProRes. Just leave it, everything is fine. And if you want to add any audio file to this, you can just click on the audio, and it supports WAV file. I have already downloaded the audio file. Just open that, and all you need to do is click on the render. In the render, you can specify how many frames you wanted to render. Say I wanted 125 frames, and then give OK. It starts rendering. Okay, once the rendering is done, wherever you have saved it, this is the output that I have saved. Plain flying. Just open, play it within here. Okay, so this is how you take outputs. We'll see it once again.